to the DCCAP eSummit Spring Edition, I guess. So hopefully everyone's doing okay. My name is Tim Deep. I'm the Customer Success Manager at DCCAP. I'll be hosting today. So next I'd like to bring up Matt Johnson. He's the Vice President of Business Development at ES Tech Group. And he's a managing partner of SpinStack Growth Agency. He is a brand and marketing strategist with 16 plus years of experience working with industrial supply distributors in North America and beyond. Matt Johnson and his firm, SpinStack Growth Agency, have joined the ES Tech Group family of brands dedicated to helping independent distributors grow and win online. He's lived the American dream and is passionate about helping other distributors compete against the biggest brands online. So I'd like to bring up Matt Johnson to the stage.
So thank you, Tim and Catherine and Karthik and everybody at DCCAP. It's an honor to be here and to share with you guys today. Excited about listening to the other presentations as well. I'm gonna grow and learn myself here. So let's talk about growth. eComm-Wheel of growth. This is a proven methodology that I've put together for building, launching, and growing a B2B e-commerce website that gets results. Keyword gets results, right? Quick just word about me, in case you don't know who I am. Spent 16 years in manufacturing distribution industry, working with distributors and manufacturers. And, you know, out of that sort of that relationship that we had with many distributors, we founded SpinStack Growth Agency, which is an omni-channel marketing agency dedicated to helping distributors grow. I'm passionate about leveling the online playing field for B2B distributors. So my grandfather actually started a distribution business in his basement up in Ontario, Canada, way back in the late 60s. He brought that business down to Florida, and he grew it into a $100 million global supplier. So I've seen it work. We've gone through digital transformation in my family's business. I've gone through digital transformation in many other distribution businesses throughout the years. And we've basically taken what we've learned from the most successful distributors and broken that down into a system, which I'm going to share with you today. So ES Tech Group is the business that I'm with. And what we did just as early or as recent as last year is that we merged SpinStack Growth Agency with Evolution X to form ES Tech Group. So it's a unique situation. We have a software company, which is Evolution X, that provides a B2B enterprise level e-commerce platform for distributors with SpinStack e-commerce enablement services. So it's a two-in-one solution, and we'll talk more about that after I share. But yeah, excited to jump in here. So 1999, change in your world was kind of like this. You're kind of flowing down a lovely stream, listening to the birds chirp, and it was a peaceful situation in your distribution business. It really wasn't too dramatic. The internet was certainly here, but it wasn't causing as much headache as it is today. So fast forward to 2021, and navigating change in your distribution business feels a little bit more like this. There's rapids, and there are rocks that you don't even know where they're at, and you don't know what you don't know. And so navigating this kind of change today can be pretty intimidating, and it can be scary. I just want to acknowledge that at the outset here, because a lot of folks maybe who are joining this eSummit, you know, you're thinking about building an e-commerce platform for your traditional business, and it seems overwhelming. And you're right, it is overwhelming because of the amount of change that's coming at us. So quick, I just want to start with a little bit of philosophy for you guys. Heraclitus wrote this famous statement: "No man ever steps in the same river twice, for it is not the same river, and he is not the same man." Now, that is a super deep statement, but I'm not going to dwell on that. I'll let you take that one home with you guys and think about that in terms of existential reality. But let's apply it to our business. It means that the only thing constant in life is change. And we have to become change managers if we're going to thrive and survive. So understanding change, right? What's happening in our business? Well, obviously, there's this little company called Amazon that's changed the way that we buy and sell online, right? But it's not just Amazon from a B2C perspective. It's what Amazon's doing in the B2B sector that's so interesting, and I'll touch on that in a second. It's changing buyer expectations, right? So and this is kind of right on the back of Amazon. The way that we think about purchasing online has completely changed, especially in the B2B distribution world. And finally, it's the millennial workforce. It's a changing workforce, and it's a different type of buyer. And making sure that our platform is set up to cater to those types of buyers is going to be really important in the future months and years. So Amazon B2B, right? Okay, so launched in 2015. Since then, they've been really good at converting their B2C customers into B2B customers. So what they did was they were pretty smart, right? So you don't get to the top, without doing some really interesting things. So what they did was they figured out what their customers were buying, and they basically broke that into categories. And so they were able to determine which items were related to business, and then they targeted those customers and offered them to set up a B2B account, which literally took seconds. And then, before you knew it, you were able to start ordering your business supplies on the same website as you were ordering your personal supplies. $20 billion in 2020 in just a matter of 5 years. That is double the size of Grainger. So Amazon Business is a real threat, and you better believe that your customers are not buying everything from you, that they're buying some of their products from Amazon Business. So buyer expectations are also really important, right? So clunky, outdated systems that used to be able to get by with, maybe they were connected to your ERP, maybe they were made by your ERP software provider, and they really provide a really bland and clunky experience for your customers. It needs to be integrated, right? Your software e-commerce platform has to be integrated so that the buying experience is flawless, frictionless, as Evan talked about, right? So that same concept. And B2B buyers, by the way, are consumers too. So every time that they're out shopping on a Shopify website or Amazon, they're taking those same expectations back to you and either accepting or rejecting the kind of e-commerce solution that you've put out for them. Millennial workforce is shaping a big, this is a big reason why things are changing so quickly. In 2020, 50% of the workforce was millennials. In 2025, it's estimated that 75% will be millennials, which is crazy. I actually have a lot of gray hair in my beard, but technically I'm a millennial. So get that through your head. We're growing up, and a lot of these millennials are demanding different ways of doing business, right? So they don't want to see a sales rep all the time. They don't want to spend time schmoozing, going out to lunch. They're in to get their work done, and then they're out, right? This is the way they think. They don't want to talk on the phone. They want to place their order online. And it's the biggest workforce in the history of the world. And it doesn't just impact your customers, right? It's also you. You need to provide the tools, the software, the systems to help the up-and-coming workforce at your own business be successful. And part of that is having an e-commerce website. So lots of different things that are causing this disruption, right? So what will you do in response to all this? There's a few options. If you're not in it to win it, if you're not going to put in the work to have a successful e-commerce platform, acquisition might be a good option for you. You might want to sell the business, get out of it. It's complex. It's going to take some work. It's going to take investment. And maybe you're just not up for that. That's an option. Another option is dissolution. Well, we don't really want to think of that, but the reality is that if we don't do something, if the cost of inaction is losing to online competitors and even to traditional traditional distribution companies that have an e-commerce platform, dissolution is a real threat. But what I want you to do is innovate. We want you to innovate. We think you can do it. We think that we've put together the tools and the processes and the strategy to help you transform your traditional distribution business. So innovation is really, and I'm guessing that if you're here at this eSummit, you're going to fall into the right side of this bucket, right? You're going to be an innovator. So let's talk about what we can do to innovate our traditional business and get online. Because we all know that e-commerce today it's not just a luxury, right? It's not just something that the super wealthy, the big players have. It's absolutely table stakes. It's a requirement. It's a cost of doing business today, and it's going to be essential for your survival and for your success in the future. So all of that being said, this is why we created the eComm-Wheel of Growth, because we knew that it was overwhelming. We knew that there was a lot that goes into being successful online, and we wanted to condense it down into a system that could be easily understood and implemented at your business. Okay, so it's based on 10 years of best practices in B2B e-commerce. We've launched hundreds of web stores. Some of those web stores actually do really well. So, we have a lot of successful distributors and dealers who utilize our services, our platform. And what we did was we took a look at the best of the best, and we broke it down and we figured out what they did, and we put it into a comprehensive system. And it's all based on this concept of continuous improvement. It's a wheel, it's a cogwheel, because it doesn't stay still. It's always in motion. Just like your website, your platform should be continually improving, right? You should be making adjustments on the fly, something that, you're adding content every day, every week, and you are analyzing the results, and you are making the whole thing turn over and over again. That's how you get results. All right, so let's jump into this. There are obviously a bunch of points in the cogwheel we got to get through quickly, and I want to make sure I leave time at the end. So you must have a champion. So if you're going to build a team, you don't need necessarily a giant marketing team. You don't need a massive army of people doing content or designing content or managing the website, but you do need at least one project champion. It's so critical. We found that every customer that we had that was successful had at least one employee whose sole job was to make sure that the e-commerce website was successful. And it needs to be a company-wide strategic initiative. It can't just be a project that you hand off to somebody and say, good luck. This has to come from the top down. This has to be a strategic initiative from the leadership team. It's got to have your buy-in, and you've got to talk about it, and you've got to push it through all the different departments. And we also think that you can hire or outsource the rest. I mean, would it be great to have somebody working on content full-time? Absolutely. Would it be great to have somebody doing your marketing, digital marketing? Yes, that would be fantastic. But those are things that you can outsource. But you cannot outsource a champion for the platform. It's really important that there's somebody owning this from the start. And we recommend establishing SMART goals and defining a clear timeline. These projects can get off the rails fast. I can't tell you how many times I've heard horror stories about e-commerce implementations that have taken 1-2 years and hundreds of thousands of dollars. Absolutely not necessary. We stand up most websites in 4 to 5 months, and that's with integrations built in. So as long as you're organized and you have somebody championing the project, you can be successful in your implementation. So that's the first step, is building a team. All right, the next one is technology, or your tech stack. So in terms of e-commerce platforms, there's lots of options out there. I'll just name a few of them. You have your off-the-shelf platforms. Those are your Magentos, your BigCommerce, Shopifys. And then you have your bolt-on platforms. Those are bolt-on, we refer to as sort of like additional services offered by an ERP provider. So, a lot of ERP software companies offer a bolt-on e-commerce solution. And then you have specialty platforms that are really custom. And in the ES Tech Group, our Evolution X platform is a specialty platform. In other words, it's built specifically for B2B distributors. And we had our start in B2B from day one, as opposed to like a Magento or BigCommerce, which started in B2C. So that means it's built just a little bit differently behind the scenes. Off-the-shelf platforms are great because they're really flexible, and there's lots of people out there that are willing to implement it for you, and you can get access to a lot of different plugins. The problem with it is that they're kind of like bare bones off the shelf, right? That's why they call it off the shelf. You have to stack a bunch of different plugins and apps and software to make it custom to your B2B distribution business, and to make it really perform well. That can cost a lot of money. That can also take a lot of time, and you're going to be relying on third-party developers really to maintain all of those different pieces of middleware. And bolt-on platforms, unfortunately, they just don't. They haven't got to the place where, I mean, the integration's there, but they haven't got to the place where they look really good and they provide that great seamless, front of the site buying experience for the customers. By the way, no matter what you choose, integration is everything. One of the reasons why we're here is because we've got a relationship with DC Cap, and specifically we utilize their Chloris platform for integrating ERP software. It's phenomenal when you have the best platform, the best experience, good content, and you have everything connected to provide that really clean user experience. So whatever you do, make sure that, and by the way, there's a lot of platforms that don't talk well with others. So some of the bolt-on platforms, the ERP providers, they don't allow you to integrate with other software. And that can be a problem because you need all of your systems and software to talk together today in order to really provide the best experience. This is just a quick, I won't spend too much time on this, but when we think about an e-commerce platform, there has to be these three fundamental areas of, requirements, right? So it's foundational requirements. It means that it has to be fast, it has to be scalable, you have to be 100% secure and compliant, and you have to have 99.99% uptime. You just can't afford to have something go wrong when a customer's out there shopping and buying from you. You need to have pillars of functionality built around B2B distribution, and you need to have growth tools that allow you to not just put up a website, but grow a website, right? You need to be able to grow online sales utilizing some of the sophisticated merchandising and marketing tools, customer segmentation, personalization, connectivity to marketing automation platform. This is what really makes the difference. Not every platform has it, but this is something, if you are looking and you're shopping for something, you can let me know and I can get you this, this is a snapshot for what you need. All right, let's talk about content, okay? And Karthik talked about this in his opening talk. This is absolutely critical. Every area of this eComm-Wheel is important, but I would say nothing is quite as important as content. It is the lifeblood, right? If we don't have content, none of this works. And there's three kinds of content that you need. You need informational content. This is content about your business, content about who you are, how to contact you, et cetera, right? You need marketing content. You need to be able to educate your customer and provide resources that help them make a good purchasing decision. And you need product content, rich product content, not just the kind of content that you have in your ERP system, but multiple images, detailed descriptions, specifications which allow you to filter and search through the e-commerce platform, and even videos and downloads to help really solve the content problem for your customer, right? Because if the content's not there, they're just going to continue to go to the sales rep and ask questions and get additional information. If the website's going to be successful in transforming the way that your customers purchase from you, the product content has to be exceptional. But how do you manage to eat this elephant, so to speak, right? This is a massive project. Many of our distributors have 5, 10, 20,000 SKUs that they stock, and many more that they are able to sell their customers. So building an online product catalog can be overwhelming. So we always recommend starting with the top 20% of the products that account for 80% of your revenue. Those are your top sellers, right? So if you go through and you basically create a bucket for each product category, and you fill up that bucket with your top 20%, then you have a starting place. And then what you will want to do is every month, every quarter, go through and add additional products to that bucket, and eventually get to the point where you have a long tail merchandising strategy where you have lots of products back behind that top 20%, which are going to be your most popular items. And this is a good way to think about it. This is going to take time. It doesn't happen overnight. And there are content service providers that will provide you with content immediately, although it will be a cost to you. So graphic design is important because, like we talked about earlier, the buying expectations have changed, right? B2B buyers are consumers too. We got to remember that. So the website design has to look really clean and simple. We like to talk about in design in terms of, our implementations, like to keep it really simple, like to use the KISS method, keep it stupid simple. And the way that we do that is by utilizing themes, which do a couple of things. It restricts the amount of stuff that you put on a page, thus creating a more streamlined, consistent navigation process. But it also allows you to manage the cost, because design projects can really get out of hand quickly. Multiple reviews. It might take months and months to be able to agree on a design for your site. So you really want to keep it simple. Use themes, because nobody needs to build a website completely custom today. It just is not necessary like it used to be back in the day. And by the way, caveman test it. Like when somebody walks into your house for the first time, they've never been there, they don't know where the bathroom is, right? Only you do. You have to, you know where the bathroom is because you live there. Your website's sort of the same way. You need to be able to make it easy to navigate across the site. So we like to recommend having multiple people test it. The caveman test is, if a caveman were to sit down and look at your website, would they know what to do within 5 to 10 seconds? Would they know what you want them to do, who you are, and how to purchase from you? That's the caveman test. So process is really important as well, because what you're going to find out, if you haven't already done this, is that there's a lot of additional processes required. And of course, I'm walking you through a process, right? The eComm-Wheel of growth is in itself a process. But there's going to be additional processes around e-commerce management, order management, website management, marketing and communications. And you're going to want to document all of this so that you can scale it. So the idea is that you fine-tune the process and then you roll that out and you make it bigger. So nail it and scale it. So you got to get really concise about how you do things. How often are you updating content? How often are you managing your pricing? How often are you running marketing campaigns and communication campaigns, promotion campaigns, and how is it done? And when you document your process, you can essentially build a franchise model out of your e-commerce website and be able to roll it out to a bigger and bigger team. So again, it might start with one person. That one person then could be managing a small army of people in a few years of consistent online growth. So if you're ready to launch your website, just stop and pause and ask yourself, have I gone through the most important requirements to launch it, right? Pre-launch checklist is important. Surgeons use checklists. Pilots use checklists. It's important to use a checklist because it prevents you from skipping over really basic, really basic information that can help you prevent any issues when you launch your site. Now, when we launch a site for a customer, we really encourage them to do a beta launch first. A beta launch is a small rollout to existing customers first, to work out any kinks, to work on our processes, to make sure that the customer experience is on point before we're rolling it out with our entire customer base. So a customer rollout is actually the best way to do it is to have a hands-on experience, to literally go out, and sometimes it's the e-commerce manager, or maybe it's a sales rep, but what would really be great is if you went out to your customer in person. If you can't do it in person, do it over Zoom or whatever, and sit down with them and explain to them the benefits of using your website. And bring in the sales reps, by the way. If you bring in the sales reps, you're doing two things. You're selling it to the sales rep and you're selling it to the customer. And when the sales rep sees the benefits to the customer, they're on board with the platform, and then they can actually promote it themselves. So when you're first doing the beta launch, maybe you're the one, if you're an e-commerce manager, you're the one running the project. Maybe you're the one selling the platform, but then eventually your sales team learns how to do it as well. And by the way, you got to incentivize the reps and customers, because you're talking about buying behavior changes, and it's important that you have some sort of reason for them to get on board. We always recommend that sales reps are commissioned through the website sales, right? When you're doing B2B commerce. Otherwise, they follow the money, and they're not going to follow the money to the e-commerce platform if there's nothing in it for them. So incentivize your reps and your customers. This is a big misconception. If you build it, they will come. Unfortunately, that idea only works in the field of dreams. It's important that when you build an e-commerce platform, that you follow it up with a really organized, structured marketing program, a communication program. So this is where we're at now, is promoting. In order to get the return on your investment and to realize online growth, you've got to have a couple of things: customer adoption and customer acquisition. So adoption obviously means that your customers, your existing traditional buyers, are moving from phone ordering, email ordering, faxing, for goodness sake, and they're utilizing the platform you've built. That's adoption. And then acquisition obviously means the acquiring of new customers through the website. The website should not just only be an ordering tool, but it should be generating leads and customers on a regular basis. All right, so customer adoption, it requires behavior change. Human behavior, we all know this, we do not change unless there is reason. Either there is a carrot or there's a stick. So the carrot here, we don't want to use a stick on our customers, obviously, so we're going to offer a carrot. And that could be something like a rewards or loyalty program. That could be a promotional campaign where you're offering percent off of orders, or maybe you're offering a rebate program. Whatever you do, it's got to be significant enough to get them to pay attention, to sit through the training, to log in, to change the way they order from you, and to feel really good about it. Customer buyer journeys are something that I recommend every distributor do, even if you're not building an online platform, but especially if you are, you've got to understand where your customers come from and where you want them to go. And ultimately, the idea is to gain more and more wallet share from your customer. And a customer journey helps define your marketing strategy. We're taking a customer from the very beginning and walking them through maturity with us. What does that look like? They're buying multiple categories. We own a significant share of their wallet, etc. Marketing automation is really helpful to do this. At SpinStack, we are HubSpot solution partners. We are integrated with HubSpot and our e-commerce platform, and we can't recommend enough, utilizing a great marketing tool like HubSpot or others to help you automate some of the touch points, the communication. So every stage of that buyer's journey has essentially an automated email campaign that hits your customers on a regular basis, getting them to take the next step. Whether they've lapsed accounts and they haven't been to the website in a while, whether they're current customers who just need to be reminded that they can buy other things from you, marketing automation helps make that happen. And then finally, sales alignment is just so critical. We've got to get the sales team on the same page with the marketing and the e-commerce teams so that we can go to market in a consistent way. And really, to a sales rep, the e-commerce platform is not a competitor. The e-commerce platform is a tool that they can use to help their customers grow their accounts and provide a great experience. All right, we're at the very end. Analyze. So here's some KPIs to measure that you can use to improve, right? So this is the last on the eComm-Wheel of growth because it starts sort of the whole process over again. So what we do at SpendStack is that we work with our customers that are utilizing the EvolutionX platform, and they may be utilizing a HubSpot software. And what we do is we set up a dashboard for them that pulls in data points from their e-commerce platform, from Google Analytics, from HubSpot, and we create different dashboards to track, the website traffic, to track conversion rates on the site, to track lifetime order value, average order value, and cart abandonment. And what we are doing is we're looking at all of these key metrics, and then we are analyzing them, and we're defining what the next step is. So, for example, if our average order value is low, what can we do to get that average order value up? Maybe there's a promotion that we can run. Maybe there's a campaign where we're offering to add things to their shopping cart when they get to the point of placing their order. If there's a cart abandonment issue, maybe we're setting up automation to offer a % discount to get that cart through the checkout process. And then finally, Net Promoter Score. Most distributors don't do this. The ones that really kill it do. They're consistently asking their customers how they're doing. So a Net Promoter Score basically allows you to define how you're doing in terms of customer experience. And so having something like that pop up like in a chat widget on your website, asking them, hey, how are we doing? Would you recommend us to a peer or another distributor? And really that is the idea, is that you're tracking that Net Promoter Score and you're figuring out, well, what can we do to make it better? You're asking the customer, you're getting that feedback, and you're putting it into action. And again, the wheel is moving, right? That's the idea. It only works if the wheel moves. So I would just encourage you guys as we're wrapping up, you can do this. You can build a legacy that stands the test of time. You can become irreplaceable to your suppliers, to your customers, and to your community. And you can build an online channel that increases sales and profit. This is doable. We've watched it happen many, many times. But not everybody does it because not everybody puts in the work like we went through in this presentation. So at ES Tech Group, we say that to win online, you need a complete solution. What does that mean, a complete solution? Well, in our minds, it means these four things. It means content, commerce, communication, and connectivity. So content, we have a content partner. We use Distributor Data Solutions out of Salt Lake City. They provide phenomenal next-generation product content straight from the manufacturers, updated on a regular basis, and syndicated to the EvolutionX website. So EvolutionX is our B2B e-commerce platform for distributors. We think it's the world's greatest B2B e-commerce platform. We're a little bit biased, but many of our customers agree with us that there's nothing like it in B2B distribution. And then we combine that with SpendStack e-commerce enablement services, dedicated to helping distributors win online through expert digital marketing strategy. So if you don't have a marketing team and you don't have an e-commerce manager, SpendStack basically fills those needs for you and helps you get the most out of your software and out of your e-commerce platform. And then just a shout out to DC Cap and what they've done with Chloris, an ERP integration platform that allows us to connect EvolutionX with whatever ERP software you're utilizing, as well as CRMs. This all allows better control, improved productivity, and a real frictionless, I like that word, frictionless experience for your customers. And really, when you have all of these things, you can win. Doesn't matter what size you are, if you're just starting out, or if you've been successful online to this point, you can win against the biggest competitors, because what you're doing is putting together an Amazon killer. So we like to say that we're here to help you grow, and we've put together some resources for you guys, sort of a call to action here at the end that you can take advantage of. First of all, if you go to our website, evolutionx.io, You can learn more about the e-commerce platform and some of the features that are unique to it. And you can even book a demo. You can download a features guide. If you are interested, a demo would be eye-opening. Even if you end up not going with us as a service provider, it would be educational. I'm sure you would enjoy learning more about how we solve problems for other distributors around the world. And then finally, or not, this one more, and then we're at finally. But Distributor Marketing University is something we just launched this year. We're excited about this because we're putting all of the greatest content related to distributor marketing, B2B e-commerce in one resource place where you can access downloads, articles, videos, webinars, and really get educated on the best practices in terms of B2B distributor marketing. And then shout out to my partner, Dave Bend. He and I actually host a distributor pubcast where we get together, we enjoy an adult beverage, and we talk about distribution, we talk about B2B e-commerce, and we talk about what it takes to grow your B2B business today. So fun little podcast. If you're into podcasts, that's also at our website. And then truly the finally here is downloading the ebook. So I talked very quickly because I didn't have much time, but I had to get through the eComm-Wheel of Growth in rapid speed. But there's a lot more to be said about it, and you can find out more by going to the eComm-Wheel of Growth landing page. That's spinstack.com, Distributor Marketing University. You can scan that QR code, and I think I'm going to be able to drop the link into our chat. So I will do that. You guys can go get this ebook. I think you'll find it very insightful, and use it as a guide. Pull it up every month, every quarter as you're working with your team on building and growing your e-commerce website. All right, guys, that's it from me. Thanks again to DC Cap and all of the other presenters. It's great to be here, and have a great rest of your day.
Thank you so much, Matt, for the presentation. Thank you for the shout out as well with DC Cap, Chloris, and great visuals on the eComm-Wheel of Growth. So again, like Matt was talking about, you guys could download that. We'll be sure to put that in the chat section and just make sure you guys have that. So thank you so much, and it's great that you guys are building the ecosystem as well, just for educational purposes for the community and the ecosystem. So thank you so much for that. That's it. That's all we have for now, and hopefully you guys will stay tuned for our next eSummit in November. We do have eSessions on a monthly basis on specific case study examples, and I think for the one for June will be more on the Jan-San industry, so the janitor and sanitation industry. But that's it for me. Thank you guys so much for all your time, and we'll see you guys again. Stay safe out there. Bye, guys.